my goodness! Are you here to learn about music? Because I am here to teach you about music. It is the most exciting thing ever. I think it's the coolest thing ever, and I've been blessed to lead a life full of it. Ever since I was very, very little, all the way to this guy you see right here, I've been surrounded by music, musicians, and people who love music as well. So, the first thing I want to make sure you understand, presuming you know nothing about music, is that everything you think you know, if you know nothing, is wrong. By that I mean, when you look up at a stage and you see all these musicians just rocking out, all these performers, I think it too, you look at them and you think, wow, I could never be that good. These people were born with this talent. They were born singers and born bass guitarists and born drummers. But that's not true. What you're looking at when you see these top level performers on stage or in movies is a lot of practice. Far more than you would think. Think about how much practice it might take and then times that by 10. Because that's how much practice it does take. When people have been performing that long, Prince, Michael Jackson, you have to understand that they can't mess up anymore. They've put so many hours in. Practice isn't about getting it till it's right. It's about getting it until you cannot get it wrong. Okay? So just imagine how much time they've spent and then look at your own life. And you go, well, you know, I'm young, I have opportunities, I have time. Time is of the essence, you know? It's all about where you put it. And so you can look at the rest of your life and say, you know what? I can consistently add music to it. I want to add music to it. You know, I sincerely believe that all humans have music inside them, you know? And it's not just humans. Birds, monkeys and apes in the jungle, they'll drum on rocks and logs. So rhythm and melody exists in nature, and what humans have done, we've come along and refined it. You know, if you look at your music history, you know, there's oldies and all this stuff, but of course way before that, music was very simple. Over time, we've turned it into symphonies. So if you have this much want to do music inside of you, and I think because you're a human, you do, then I promise you, if you invest enough time, you can turn that want into symphonies. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. And more than that, a life filled with music brings a life full of friends, brings a life full of fun experiences. If you've never done it, to play music with other people is one of the biggest joys of being a human. And so, hopefully, within a few short lessons here, I can get you started on what music is and the basics of it so that pretty quickly you're going to be able to start making music on your own or learning the songs you want to learn from maybe some of your favorite songwriters or musicians. So, this is a guitar. Specifically, this is an electric guitar. More specifically, one that is not plugged in. I'm not here to rock out for you right now. We'll get to that. But I want to just show you what the instrument is and how it works. So every single string, and there's 6 of them, are strung up from low note to high note, okay? All right? And then there are these bars along the way called frets. Okay, we're going to be talking a lot about strings and frets in the future, so it's a good idea to look at it as something like a graph, because where a string meets a fret and you play a note, that's a note. Also sometimes called a tone, right? So this just happens to be G, all right? The letters of the notes go from A to G, right? This is a G chord. Do you hear how they kind of sound similar? Like one's like this, but this one's like a bigger version of that? Okay. Now, why that is because I'm not just playing a G note through all of this. We'll get into the details of it as to how it works later, but basically when you play a chord on a guitar, you're manipulating all the strings at just the right frets so that you limit what notes there are down to 3 or maybe sometimes 4 or something. So, for instance, this is a C chord. That's also a C chord. This is a G chord. This is a G chord. This is a G chord. Okay? So, really it's up to you how you learn how to play your instrument. There are some basics, and we'll get you started on that, but the truth is, once you learn how music works with timing and melody, you can start to create your own. You'll be like, oh, this is nice. Well, technically, I'm just holding a G chord right there. But I've learned how to, like, play it up a little bit, you know? That's really just a G chord, but, like, played with. And there's a D and another G. Right? That's some stuff I wrote on my acoustic years ago. But that's just an example of how something that maybe sounds a little more complicated isn't. Right? That's really just a G note ending on a C note. Or a G chord ending on a C chord, rather. So, you know, when you put the time in, and I've put in a long time. I am almost 40 years old. Do you know how old that is? That's like halfway to very, very, very old. So, I put a lot of time in it. And I gotta say, there's no more rewarding experience I've ever had in my life than music and what it's brought to my life. I cannot count the friends and experiences I've had traveling the country. Some of them have been world record-breaking events. I've twice broken the longest ukulele performance world record. I have led a 72-hour open jam. That is the verified longest open jam right now. And I also organized 2 of the longest concerts in world history, including the longest concert in world history, where I found myself rapping with Coolio on stage at one point. I'm not joking. So you'll be hard-pressed to find somebody more passionate about music and sharing it with the rest of the world. As me, I hope you come back for another lesson, and I hope this was informative and fun. See you soon.